How you doing, guys? It's Alessandro here from Spicymoustache with some new tips in order to help you creating your own green area, indoor or outdoor, following the principle of do as nature does. We are finally starting to see more fruit and vegetables getting ready through the summer, and we're picking up more and more every single day. However, it's not only about the harvest, but there are many plants that shows incredible colors that are not only good to the human eye, but they also attract many different beneficial pollinators. Also, some plants are incredibly easy to grow, and they're perfect for beginner gardeners that are venturing into the gardening world. So dig up the like button, and today I'll show you all you need to know about growing peas in a simple yet super effective way. Peas, Pisum sativum, also called garden peas, it's an herbaceous annual that it's virtually grown worldwide for its edible seeds. Peas can be both fresh, dried or frozen, and dried peas are usually used for soups. Some varieties, including sugar peas and snow peas, produce pods that could be eaten raw or cooked like beans. One plant produces a lot of pods, and usually I eat them straight away, but if I produce too many, I just freeze them for later use. Freezing your peas is a great way to preserve them because they maintain the flavor and texture. The plants are fairly easy to grow, and peas are a good source of protein and fibers. The flowers of this plant come in a variety of different colors that are really attractive for predatory insects, and they offer natural protection to your garden. They also offer many other benefits if planted as companion plants in your garden. Garden peas have two main attributes that make them strong candidates whenever you're planning what to plant in your garden. The first benefit is that peas vine upwards, and their vertical posture make them ideal for a low crop to be planted at their base. The second benefit is that spring planted peas finish to produce roughly around midsummer. This leaves a huge gap of another major vegetable that could be planted in succession after the peas. This means that first of all, they are great for interplanting with other vegetables, as I explained in my video with Jack about companion planting, but they're also great for succession planting, which means planting another vegetable after one has finished to produce. There are mainly three main types of peas: magnetype, snap peas and shell peas. They're also known as English peas, snow peas and sugar snap peas. However, no matter what variety you grow, they all need some kind of support. Using a support offers many options for intercropping them with many other vegetables in your garden. For example, you could plant lettuce, rocket or spinach at the base of your peas, so in this way, whenever they grow, they're gonna shade the roots and offer some protection and control over the growth of the peas. Whenever you harvest these greens, that could be lettuce, spinach or rocket, just cut them at the base so you won't disturb the roots of the peas growing. Alternatively, you could build an A-frame, and in this case you would have a shaded area down the middle of this A-frame. This will be ideal to plant potatoes or onions in areas where mild weather of the spring doesn't last for too long. You could also do succession growing with squash or cucumbers after your peas. You can use the same exact support that you use for your peas to grow your next vegetables. This works great because you can simply cut the peas at the base and leave all those nodules of nitrogen that the peas produced, and they will be ready for your next crop planted in succession. Peas generally prefer cooler weather and grow well in spring. Ideally, you would sow peas between February to May, depending on the area where you live. However, you can still grow peas in June if you have a longer growing season. For the earliest crop, cover the planting area with cloth a week before planting. You can sow directly in the area where you want to grow them between February and March. Early sowing is great because you could potentially avoid the peas moth, which is a real pain with all those tiny caterpillars that eat the peas from the inside. The first thing that you need to make is a trench roughly 6 inches deep and 2 inches deep. You can plant peas 3 inches apart in staggered rows. If you want to make more than one trench, you need to consider the height of the plant, because obviously it's gonna shade the area. Dwarf varieties could be planted much closer than normal varieties. When you sow peas, just remember to plant them at high density and don't plant it sporadically around your garden. Also, a great way to improve the germination rate is to soak overnight, so that you kind of reactivate the seeds and they will be ready to sprout. You can sow them directly in the area where they need to be planted. In fact, they don't really like to be transplanted. However, if you sow them indoor early during the winter, I would suggest to use pots that could be planted directly into your soil. Peas are one of the easiest plants to grow, and also the whole plant is edible. Also, whether you're harvesting the peas or the shots, harvesting often encourages the plant to produce more. To harvest shots, follow the end of the vine with your eye to where it joins the stem. Right where it joins, you will see a little green nub. Harvest the shot right above the nub, and it will turn into a new shot. If you have a healthy, rich soil, you won't have to apply any sort of fertilizer to your peas. However, applying a mix of comfrey and nettles while the pot starts forming will encourage the plant production. Peas should be ready to harvest roughly 3 months after sowing. Pick the pods from the bottom of the plant upwards, as the one close to the base are the most mature. Use both ends to avoid damaging the plant. Most plants need nitrogen to grow. However, peas, like many other legumes, are nitrogen fixers, which means they absorb nitrogen gas and they store it into the root. In fact, when the plant finishes to produce, make sure to not remove the roots of the peas, but cut them at the base, so the roots with the nodules full of nitrogen can stay in the ground. At that point, the roots will start to decompose, which means that all those nodules full of nitrogen will be released into the ground. So it will be ready to be absorbed by the next vegetable plant that you will plant in that area.
So there's 3 different types of trellises to support your peas. Behind me we've got a wigwam, we've got an A-frame, and we're also going to talk about vertical trellising as well. There's benefits to all 3. Personally, I use the vertical for my market garden just because it works best for me in my straight lines in the market garden. But the benefits of having like a wigwam or an A-frame in your environment may be the fact that to conserve space and also to plant something in the middle that's a shade tolerant crop. So in between the lines of the A-frame, you can grow something like a lettuce that prefers a bit of shade. These are just really cool ways of using your trellis, so you're getting 2 crops out of 1 as well, but also what's best for your environment, what works for you. But all these ways are great ways to support your peas. And the last tip for me is to just grow the peas. Grow peas. They're the best, most underrated veg in the garden. It's like popping candy, super sweet. And it's just one of those things in the garden that tastes so different to supermarket peas. So yeah, grow your peas, guys, and here's some of the top tips I'm going to leave you with.
Peas can be grown pretty much anywhere. You can grow them in containers, on your windowsill, or even indoor to have some delicious and sweet microgreens. I plant them every season in my garden, and they are a really great source of vitamin, proteins and fibers to add to your diet. I hope you liked today's video, and if so, please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification settings so you can be notified every time I post a new video. And I'll see you next Friday for a new episode. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.